Hello folks, and welcome to Mr. Herbert's Backyard Mechanics series.
Okay, this is a 2014 3.6 flex fuel Chrysler Town & Country, and I've looked at plenty of videos online trying to find the brain, and they show the brain usually right here, but not on this one. So just in case you haven't been able to find one, I'm going to show you where it's at. You look down in here. I'm going to get way down in there. Right there is the brain. The only way that you can get to that is by taking the wheel off. And have to take that cover off there after you take the wheel off. So let's go ahead and get started.
Well, as you may have seen in the previous video, I changed the half shaft on my 2014 Chrysler Town & Country van to get rid of that slight annoying vibration it always had, because after lots of inspection I found it was slightly bent. I've had it ever since I bought the car used with only 12,000 miles on it. Well, this summer when it was hot and idling, I began getting an engine light coming on, and using my onboard computer tester, it told me I had a P0302 code, which is a number 2 cylinder misfire. So after resetting it several times, and with the rough idle when it was really hot, the light would come back on again. So I went ahead and took the intake manifold off, changed the plugs in the coil pack for that number 2 cylinder. That should work, right? Only logical. But again, the light came on and it was idling rough. The 4 O2 sensors all passed their test, and I had surmised that the ECM electronic control unit may be being affected by the heat, so I decided to change it. So I went ahead and ordered one from Flagship One. It cost $139 with free shipping and a lifetime warranty. It's a reflashed and refurbished unit and was cheaper than replacing the 4 O2 sensors at $60 each. And I was still contemplating they may be signaling the brain to make the engine run rich or something, and that's why the rough idle. You know, I know that O2 sensors are only good for 80 to 100,000 miles, and so I opted to change the brain instead to see what happened. So let's see how it went and if it actually fixed it.
Alright, let's take these screws off.
Now pry out the 3 plastic flex screw fasteners. So if you gently peel back the plastic splash shield, it'll prop up in the back and let you get into the ECM. Now the ECM will drop down so you can remove the plugs. You could remove them while mounted, but I had to get it down so I could see how those plugs worked.
Just pull this up and that pulls it off. Just like that. Okay, that's one. This one, not coming off too good. Okay, the way these things work is when you push this, this moves this little rail back and forth, which lifts it off, so it allows it to come off, because these things get gunked up.
A little silicone spray really helps.
Goes in and out, and if you don't have a little silicone on there, you're gonna have trouble getting that in, so it locks it down. plug this in. That's on. Alright, let's see about this one now. Alright, that's on. So what I'm going to do now is start it up and make sure that it starts.
All right, that sounds great.
Now we'll button up everything and take it for a test drive. That's how it should look when you're all done.
Okay, pull the cover back and put the 2 screws back in. Then make sure you push those little plastic flexible screws back in. Put the wheel back on. Tighten it down to proper torquing. Lower the car and you're all done. So it's working perfectly now, and if this helps just one of you, I'm happy. So thanks a lot for watching, folks. This is Dave the Night Flyer signing off for now.